Chapter 3. The one thing that makes this world interesting is that everyone has theories. And when it happened, everybody had theories. He suddenly appeared one day standing in the middle of the one intersection that comprised the town square, confused, wandering out in front of moving cars like a sleepwalker. Horns blared, but he didn't seem to notice. He was like a senile old man who suddenly had forgotten how to cross the street. Somebody finally grabbed him, pulling him to the sidewalk, explaining to him how he should be careful in the future. But he simply looked at her like a ghost. Like someone who had been dead for years, who had not heard language in such a long time that each and every word had to be translated in his mind. He stumbled upon the crooked sidewalks, passing shops, meandering into the five and dime, finding himself chased out, acquiring the epithet of bum, sniffing the scents of the pizzeria. He eventually blundered his way into one of his old haunts, finding a seat at the bar. "What can I get you?" asked a young bartender who approached him, who never once noticed the absurdity of a dead man sitting at his bar. "What?" was all he could find to say. "What can I get you to drink?" "Drink?" he responded. The bartender looked around ironically at the assembly scattered around the barroom, which inspired the assembled patrons to laugh scornfully. "Yeah, what can I get you to drink?" "I like drinking," he said matter-of-factly, as if he were reminding himself of something that he should have already known. "I like to drink." He seemed to be struggling with a memory. "I like to drink bourbon. I like to drink bourbon." The crowd displayed the exact opposite of graciousness by the manner of their laughter, but he felt neither their derision nor their mocking. He simply looked like someone who had recently emerged from a fever, who had vivid dreams only to wake to find that they were dreams after all. "So you like a bourbon?" the bartender asked. "I think so," he said. "Any particular kind?" "Brown." The bar erupted with laughter. He looked around at the jeering faces with a confused expression. The bartender finally felt the need to explain. "All bourbon is brown," he said, bursting into laughter as the words escaped his lips. "I would like a glass of brown bourbon," he said, as if he hadn't noticed anything that had transpired. "One glass of brown bourbon coming up," bartender said with a chuckle. He grabbed a bottle and a small glass. "You want that neat?" bartender asked. He simply looked at him expressionlessly. "Neat it is," the bartender concluded, tilting the bottle. "That'll be $3.75, the bartender said, sliding the bourbon-filled glass toward him. He looked at the bartender as if he had spoken Chinese. The bartender asserted. "That'll be $3.75. The bartender slipped the bourbon-filled glass away from him. "You do have money, don't you?" "Money?" he responded. I don't seem to have any money." "And then you'll get no bourbon." It was about that time that he heard a name he recognized but hadn't heard in a long time. He turned to the source of the name and saw a surprised man creeping into the barroom. "I know you," he said confusedly. "Holy Jesus, is it really you?" the man asked. "How the hell could you be here? You died years ago." "Oh yeah," he said, remembering an important piece of information. "That's right, chopping wood." "What the hell?" the man asked. "Is this real?" He lunged toward him, feeling his arm and his head. "It's you! You're here! What the hell? How can this be possible?" I'm dead," he said, and then he disappeared. The theories multiplied like ravenous bacteria. Some simply said, "Well, what do you expect from a group of drunks in the middle of the afternoon?" Others assigned it to some kind of repressed grief that suddenly found a release, and still others developed even wilder theories. But what no one suspected was that the cause of this particular incident was an 11-year-old boy in a red jacket who walked home from school every day, passing by the cemetery every day, reading the pronouncement of the meter, time expired, never getting the joke, every day wondering one thing and one thing only. I wonder if that parking meter works. This particular autumn day, as he was walking home from school, he decided to find out. He put a quarter in the meter and turned the dial, and seeing that the arrow within the meter spun to 2 hours, he continued to venture home, never noticing that a man suddenly appeared from behind the tree, who seemed to be trying to get the boy's attention, but who seemed to be mute. I hope you like this excerpt from Time Expired. If you want to know what happened, you have to buy the book. Time Expired, available at Amazon and from Dip Publishing, and you can get it on your Kindle, you can get it on your Nook, or you can buy it if you're still living in caveman days, you can buy it on a print copy to hold in your hands. So thank you for listening, and I hope you liked it. Peace out.